Welcome to the Richard Lloyd USA YouTube channel. I'm Richard Lloyd. Today I'm going to be making a video that's been requested to me several times. Basically how to make a router into a Wi-Fi extender. Now I've done this many times with basic routers like this TP-Link router here, but it's only 2.4 gigahertz and people want to make an extender out of their old router that has 5 gigahertz. And if your router has a 5 gigahertz capability on it, this video will maybe get you to be able to turn it into an extender. We'll see about that in a minute. But today I'm going to be using an R6700 Netgear, and very capable router, very quick, and 2.4 and 5 gigahertz bands are, radios are in it, so we can use this router to turn it into an extender repeater, and that's what we're going to do in this video. But before we do that, and on top of that, once we do create it into an extender, you'll have 5 ports on the back to use for Ethernet expansion. So you can plug 5 Ethernet devices into the ports in the back of this router and make it into 5 Ethernet devices that are connecting to your network remotely through Wi-Fi. Pretty neat, right? And they'll be able to surf the internet and see everything on your router. So, on your network, which is really cool. So let's go next here. Okay, so you're going to need a 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi router for sure. And it has to be compatible with a third-party firmware, which is called DD-WRT. I'll walk you through installing that on this router or whatever router you're going to install it on. And I'll also walk you through to figure out whether you can actually do this at all, because it's the DD-WRT firmware. It's not compatible with every router, but a lot of routers. So I'll show you how to check for that. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take this router and turn it into a repeater extender. It's going to connect through Wi-Fi to your home network router and to your home network, and it will be part of it as if it was connected with a cable. It's just going to extend your network as it should. And in the back here, you can connect 5 things to it, like a printer or a PC, which I will show on this video as far as the PC is concerned. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, there is a limitation on this extender. It can either connect to your router with 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz band, but not both at the same time. So, seeing as most people want the 5 gigahertz, I'm connecting this router through 5 gigahertz only. I may make a video in the future on how to do this with 2.4, as 2.4 gives you a greater range but slower speed. 5 gigahertz gives you shorter range but much faster speed. So, I'm assuming that most people want the 5 gigahertz connection to their home router through this Wi-Fi extender. So we're going next here. So this is all how it's going to be. Basically, I think I've explained all of this. Is your router DD-WRT compatible? Well, let's go check. Let's open up a browser here. And in here, we're going to type in DD-WRT.com, which is the web page for DD-WRT. Just hit enter on that, and off we go. And I'll be putting these into notepad notes here so that we can you can follow along. And like I said, there's quite a bit of configuration to making this happen, but if you follow step by step, this should work for you. Okay, so I'll put these notes probably in the video description as well below. Right, so we're at DD-WRT. Got to go to router database here, and in my case, mine is an R6700. There we go, and you type it in, and it automatically says, it tells you right away that it is available. But notice it tells me on version 1. There's 3 versions of the 6700. There's a version 1, 2, and a 3. But this only shows version 1. But if you have a 2 or 3, fret not. And I'll show you where to really check to see if there's DD-WRT is available for your router, even though it doesn't show it here. Okay, so here, if we click on this one, you'll see that there's 2 files involved right here. Just click on those 2 files to download this version, which I don't recommend for this router, but these will be the most friendly or compatible files for your router. And they're completely safe, completely secure. but they're pretty old. That's 2020, right? It's 2026 right now. So what you do to get the latest firmware, but it's beta, but it's still the latest, and it's always, generally very good. We're going to go here. There is a caveat. Generally, sometimes beta software doesn't work the greatest, but here we go. We're going to go to other downloads, and then you go to betas right there. Scroll down and hit the OK on the cookie policy here to either the latest or just 2026, and that's what I'm going to do, 2026. And there you see a list of directories. Go to the lowest one, which is 63600 right now, R63600. This will continue. They put new ones out sometimes, daily, right? But they're quite often there's a new one. But that's where we are right now. Here, just hit Control F and search for R6700 or whatever router you have. And if it's in this list, then there's firmware for it, and off we go. But you can see here that there is a version 2 and a version 3 firmware available, but I have the version 1. Again, that's why you go here to check. It's basically the best place to go. There is an FTP site, but just Google FTP, DD-WRT space FTP, and you'll find their FTP site. But this is more than good enough for us. So my Netgear is supported. I'm going to go click on that. And you can see, again, 2 files to complete the entire flash of this firmware. So there's a step 1, and then there's a step 2. So I'll show you how to do that as well. So let's download the files. And I'll download the other one because I'm in an incognito window. It's just going to put it in the downloads directory. Open up my File Explorer. Go to Downloads. There it is. There's the 2 right there, but that's kind of sloppy, so I'm just going to create a new folder and call it Extender. Yeah, there we go, Extender. And I'm just going to drag those 2 files in there. I'm going to highlight them, so Control and click on both. Actually, I'll just drag each one in. Easier. There we go. And in the extender are both those files. Okay, so that's that. All right, so we've got the firmware we need for this procedure. That's all the firmware you need and all the software you need to make this happen. The rest is just all configuration, and I'll walk you through that as well. So here, we're going to minimize this. Next, we need to plug an Ethernet cable into the back of that router, and an Ethernet cable, and also power up your router, let it go fully booted, and then get a toothpick or something soft and non-metallic, plug it in and press it into that reset button that I have highlighted here, this one here, and hold it for 15 seconds. But first wait for the router to boot. Mine is booting right now. So Ethernet cable into the back of the router, reset the router after it's powered up and booted. And then next is you're going to plug the other side of that Ethernet cable into the back of your PC or your laptop. If your laptop does not have Ethernet adapters, you can buy them. They're about $10, $15 on Amazon, and I'll put links for them in the video description below. They come in USB-A and also combo USB-C or just dedicated USB-C if that's all you need. These are very handy. I use them all the time. They're a gigabit in speed. They do make them in 2.5 gigabit as well if you need that much speed. But anyway, we've got it physically connected. I've got it booting, and hopefully you've reset it, and so that we can both start on the same page. So that's it for the physical connection to that router. So next thing we're going to do is we need to disconnect from any other network but the one that we're connected to, which will be the Ethernet cable from your computer to your future extender current router that we're going to flash onto DD-WRT. So disconnect from Wi-Fi here. I'm going to go here to my network, view my network connections. If you don't have this here, just search for view network connections and you'll get the same page as I'm looking at here. And you can see here that Ethernet is plugged in, and it says network 6 currently. And oh, look at that. And by default, once you do reset the router, it's going to pop up a window, a browser window with the configuration for it. So I've got it connected here. Ethernet is on and Wi-Fi is off. and as it's booted up, it's giving me this page. So here we're going to hit agree, and we're just going to go through the defaults on this to get to the router, but it's imperative that you reset the router to the stock out of the box reset, because that's the least likely configuration to give you any problems. So you're straight out of the box like it would have come from Netgear. Here, just hit apply. You know, you agree or disagree, it's up to you, it doesn't matter. We're not going to be here long enough that it matters. We're going to just blow through this, get in, and install the DD-WRT firmware, and then move on and make a extender repeater out of this fine router. It's currently looking to see if it can automatically put you on the internet, and if you look at this one, you can see all the lights flashing on it. There we go. And yeah, it's busy. And I'm, like I said, connected through Ethernet back here. You can see that on one of the LAN ports. And for this configuration, you only connect to the LAN ports. You don't use the WAN port. There we go. Okay, so this will try and do it automatically. Here, just click no. I want to configure the internet connection myself. Click next. Here, this is admin account settings. So you got to put in a password to get into the router. I'm using this firmware version for the R6700, which is the latest one, but anyone will do. But this may change depending on what firmware version from Netgear you have. But regardless, I'm just going to do it here. All we want to do is configure the router so we can get into it. That's it. So I'm going to put a password in here carefully so that I don't have to do it 14 times. And these questions, it doesn't matter. Just choose one. Put a bunch of gibberish in here. There we go. And just hit next, because they don't matter anyway. This firmware won't be on this router 5 minutes from now. So hopefully. Okay, what was that? Okay, so see, that's another thing. Use a private browser to get in. I find that the browsers get all messed up with routers when you're configuring them. So I'm just going to use a private browser here. Now, there's the link to that thing. And automatically, there, it's asking me for a password. Now, the username, by default, is going to be admin. The password is going to be whatever you just put into that what do you call it? That configuration screen we just went through, and put it in. I should have just gone with password, really. But sign in. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to put in 192.168.1.1, which is the default IP address for Netgear routers, as you can see here on my notepad, right? And if you're not using a Netgear and you don't know what your default IP address for your router is, I'll show you how to get that here in a second. Here, I'm just going to hit enter. Again, same thing again. Okay. There we go. Log into it. And finally, it looks like we're going to get the web page. Yes. All right. It's going to ask you this stuff and just say no or yes. I just say no. And then no. And I can't get past it. There we go. Let's go here. Go to the advanced tab. And we'll get beyond that here in a second. But I promised you here, I showed you how to get to the IP address of your router. And all you do is go back to this network connection, right click it, choose status, go to details, and right here, your IPv4 default gateway is your router. So 192.168.1.1. So if yours is not 1.1, it's 0.1 or something else, you'll have to use that IP address to get to it. Okay. And you can change it or keep it. Again, I will explain this IP address thing a little. I'll elaborate on it in a short moment. Hit close. So again, go to the IP address that you saw there as the DNS name for your router. But if you're using a Netgear, this is 192.168.1.1 will get you there. So go to administration here. Scroll down to router update. And then here, we're going to browse for a file. I guess you just click the box, that'll happen. Go to downloads, this is where I put it, and go to extender. And we're going to use the Factory-to-ddwrt check file, which is the firmware for DD-WRT we just downloaded. Hit open, and then click on upload. Say OK to this question or this statement. Question and statement. And here it's going to warn you, oh, you're going to a earlier version. It's like, yeah, it's okay. Hit click on yes. All right, so it's going to go through this procedure of flashing the router to DD-WRT. So I'll let this go through, and I'll probably speed it up or just cut to the chase when it's done. And, well, there it goes, rebooting the router. So that took a little less long than I thought it would. And on the router, the blinking lights we all like are blinking. I know, I'm a gearhead. I like LED lights on devices. That show you what's going on, more or less. I think we all do. Okay, we're nearing the end here, and you can see the lights are now cycling through. And hopefully the page here will update. And down at the bottom right there, you'll see my network icon right there. It's, I think, connecting, looks like. All right, so we're waiting for that to come back up here. Let's take a look over here. Identifying. That's the network connection. There, network 6. All right, so once it gives it a name, we should be good to go on that. Now, let's look at the details. So right-click it, choose details. Again, default gateway 192.168.1.1. So this is a web page that you get to now when you do 192.168.1.1, and this is the default DD-WRT web page after you flash it, the preliminary flash. There is a secondary flash we're going to do, but first we got to configure this to get into it. So once again, put in a username. I'm just going with admin here, and choose a password, whatever you want it to be, and remember it, because you're going to need it in a second to get back into it. So username, password, done. Change credentials. Now it looks like you've gotten in, but you haven't. Here, click on administration, and whatever you click on, it'll bring this up. So let's go and log in using the username and password we just put into the router, and then sign in. Okay, so administration, the reason I went here is because we want to go here to firmware upgrade. We need to do the second part of this process, which is just firmware upgrade. Hit that tab, choose the file. We're going back to downloads. And here we're choosing the second file, which is the Netgear R6700 Webflash bin. Choose whichever the second one was for your router if it wasn't an R67. This is basically identical if you're using an R7000 as well. Let's go. But definitely use the right firmware for that router. So here we've got it in there. Choose the upgrade, and it's going to go through the upgrade process, and I'll pick it up on the other side. You'll see the lights flashing again, and the one that indicates that this is going on is this one here, the power light. You'll see it blinks orange, right? And eventually they'll all flash and it'll reboot. I'll pick it up when it's done. So it's booted back up again, and you can see all the lights flashing, and it's connected. Everything's good. All the lights are solid white, which means it's not flashing or not upgrading the firmware anymore. Should be good to go. And just to check, just go down here to your network connections. Right click it. It says DD-WRT. That's a good sign. And yeah, it just came up by itself. So again, if you hit on status here, you'd see under the details 192.168.1.1. So we're good. Back in. Minimize this out of the way. All right, now we've got DD-WRT completely flashed, the two files flashed, so it's ready to go. Here, there's one thing you should do right away, and that is right here on the basic setup. Change this from SFE to CTF, and this to CTF and FA. If you're using this firmware for anything other than this, definitely always set this. Actually, for whatever you're using, always set it to this. This will make it go as fast as the router can go. So if you don't do that, it won't be, it'll be about half as fast as it should be. So just do that and click on save and apply. Now the router will reboot when you do that. So, you know, again, we got to wait for it. So I'll wait for it. All right, let's boot it back up. It usually takes a couple minutes to do that. You see all the lights are white again, and the network icon at the bottom there is solid. It's not connected to the internet, but we don't have it connected to the internet, so that's okay. Here we're going to hit continue, and we're back to it, and these settings obviously have taken. Now, when we're configuring this, the only button we hit is the save button, not the save and apply button like we just did to set this up. We just hit the save button all the way through this. If you hit the save and apply, you will have to start all over again. Well, if you hit it before we finish configuring this router, it's start all over again. So only the save button. After we're done configuring all, verifying everything's good, then we hit the save and apply. And then at that point, I'll show you how to move on past that point. But right now, just hit the save button when I tell you to do all these things, okay? So, first thing, automatic configuration DHCP, disable it. There we go. And don't hit save yet, just scroll down a little bit. Disable the DHCP server. Disable these two boxes here, DNS mask and DHCP authoritative. Uncheck those. Change the time zone to wherever you are. I'm in Central Texas, so I'm just going to use US Central. Save. Again, and it's always tempting to hit the save and apply, but just hit save. Let's take a look and see how everything is. Looks pretty good here. The IP address, I'll get into that after we do everything else. Right now, we're just leave it at that, and I'll talk about what we need to do with that at the end. So here, let's go to services. And here we're going to disable all the services. Not this one, just leave this alone. Leave that, make it look like that. But down here, we're going to hit disable DNS mask. And down here, traffic daemon, just take that off, and telnet off. We don't need things running we're not using. So that just takes overhead off the CPU of the router, and it runs faster. So we'll just take that, turn it off. Again, save button. Scroll down, make sure everything's cool. It is. Security. We're going to go here and disconnect the SPI firewall. Why? You know, you might be, oh, wow, no firewall. Yeah, the firewall is generally to protect you from outside IP addresses. So, in other words, it's to protect the router from the internet and anybody out there trying to hack into your router or beyond your router. This extender will be inside your network. It doesn't need a firewall, which just means it'll run faster without it. So we're going to turn that off, and then again hit save. One more configuration over here. Go to administration, and info site password protection. Always put a check mark on that, no matter what you're doing with this firmware, because this firmware DD-WRT has a advertising page on the router when you first go to 192.168.1.1. You get, and you saw it before it asked me to put the password in. You don't want that to be advertised without a password. In other words, the less information you give people who don't have a password, the better it is for your security. So that little setting right there turns that off. And unless you have a username and password, you can't see anything about this router. So here we're going to hit save. You want to do that. Let's go back to, let's go to wireless next. There we go. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to do a handshake with 5 gigahertz on this router and the 5 gigahertz on your home router. So we have to set that up. We'll leave this alone here. This is the 2.4, and you can see that here. It's labeled 2.4 gigahertz, right? Let's go down to 5 gigahertz. First thing we're going to do is choose the radio mode, and we're going to change it from app to repeater bridge. There we go. Leave all the rest alone and just hit save. Again, always the save button, not the save and apply. All right, so we've got that done. Now, the access point will have a 2.4 gigahertz connection available to it. So you can connect to the access point with 2.4, and you can connect to it with 5 gigahertz as well. And we're going to configure both of those right now. Okay, this is the 2.4 connection for the access point. So, or the extender repeater. So we're going to call it extender. Okay, extend. You can call it whatever you want, but I'm just going to call it extender, and I like to give it 2.4G. That tells me that, you know, it's a 2.4 gigahertz SSID that I'm connecting to, as opposed to the 5 gigahertz. And we'll do that down here in a minute on the 5 gigahertz as well. So I'm just going to hit copy on that here, and because I'm going to paste it into the next one. But here, just hit save and leave the rest of this all alone. Down here, we need to create what they call a virtual app or access point. Really, it's just an extender SSID. So hit add virtual app. And what is this? This is the SSID for 5 gigahertz on your extender. So here you can see that service set identifier. We're going to change that to 2.5G. There we go, gigahertz. Again, there's a lot to this, but if you just follow along, you'll be fine, right? So save. So now we've got preliminary extender 2.4G and 5 gigahertz. Now, here, this is the repeater bridge, which is the handshake to your home router. It needs to be configured for the SSID on your home router. And the way you figure that out is go over here to Wi-Fi. So we're going to turn Wi-Fi on and just go look. And there's my home network 5G. That's the SSID for 5 gigahertz. Home network ID for 2.4. But we're connecting the extender to the router through 2.5 gigahertz. So we need this one here, right? So I guess we can connect to it. We'll do that. We'll connect to it. And then here, after you've connected, go to information. And we're going to copy this here, its name, the SSID. Hit copy. And we're going to put that in here. So basically what this connection is a client to your home network. And here we're going to hit save. There we go. And we have to, you know, SSIDs require passwords, so we'll go get the password next. So open up that info button that we clicked before. If you lost it, just go back to your connection, hit the I button. Now, if you go to the very top here, Wi-Fi password, it will allow you to show the Wi-Fi password here. So I'm just going to hit show, and there it is. The password is Purple Lake 489. So I'm going to hit copy on that and close that off. And close this off. We're done there. And where we're going next is up here to the wireless security tab. And on the 5 gigahertz, see, home network 5G, that's the connection to your home network. We need to change the password here. Okay, so whatever, there will be a default one there. I'm going to put that one in there. And it's Purple Lake 489. And I'm just going to hit save. There we go. And if you go to the 5G, it should be there. I'm going to also use the same password across all the connections that we have back here, okay? So I'm just going to paste it in there. And then you look at it. Yep, it's there. Save it. Now that's the extender 2.4 gigahertz connection. So that you'll use the same password for all of them. You can change that to be 3 different ones if you wish. Now down here on the virtual interfaces, WL1, the extender 5G, it does not have a password right now. So we need to put one in. So choose here on the security mode, we're going to go to WPA2 PSK. That's the one we use. It's secure. It's good. Here, we're going to put that password again, which is Purple Lake 489. And you can unmask it there. And we're going to hit save. Always the save button. Let's check and see if everything's cool. Yep. That one's right, that one's right, and that one's right. You have to, I have to be emphatic here, you have to be sure that you've got the right password for the connection to your home router network, the 5G one. This one here is crucial. If you don't have this right and you don't have the SSID correctly, you won't connect to your home network, and then you're just going to have to do all this all over again, because once you hit save and apply, if it doesn't connect, you don't get an IP address from it, you can't get back to it. So very, very crucial that you do that correctly. Okay, back to basic settings. There we go. We have, again, I just go with the defaults here. You can play with these if you wish. It says 6 on the network here. You know what? I'm just going to go with, now I'm leaving it alone. We'll play with that later. Home network 5G, repeater bridge, that's correct. Extender 5G, that's correct. So again, hit apply or save again, but we're not hitting apply. Just save every time. Let's go back to the setup. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, 192.168.1.1. This could be a problem because your home router will probably be on that IP address. If it's not on that IP address, which is the default Netgear IP address, it'll be on 192.168.0.1. If that's the case, then you need to change this IP address to the 0 domain. So here you would just change this to 0. And then here, this has to be different. It has to be 2. Okay, but that's only if your home router is on 192.168.0.1 only. All right, mine is on .1.1, and you can't have 2 IP addresses that are the same on the same network. It'll knock one of them off. So because the home router is 192.168.1.1, we got to change this one to .2. Okay, we'll do that. Now, if you go back here to the network connections, actually, let's go here to the Wi-Fi that we're still connected to. The info button, and you scroll down, you see that the default gateway is 192.168.1.1. That's how you find out what IP address your router is. And again, you have to change this correspondingly, right? So, that's important. But the other thing it shows you is the DNS, 192.168.1.1, and also the gateway here, right? And we need to put those numbers in here. So again, put what you got, 192.168.1.1, 192.168.1.1. So if anything's going to trip you up, it's this, okay? It's this IP address. Again, if your router has 192.168, your primary router, your home router has 192.168.1.1, then use this structure. If it has 192.168.0.1, then you would change all these to 0, right? But again, I don't, so we're putting these back. There we go. Now hit the save button one more time. Notice that we're still on 192.168.1.1 here, because nothing that we've done so far has been committed to the router's memory. Right now it's just sitting there waiting for us to say save and apply, and we're not going to do that yet. Right now we should be correctly configured. Let's double check everything, okay? Administration, yep. Info site password protection, that's correct. Over here on security, firewall is off, that is correct. Services, everything should be, well, these two should be like this. All this up here should be set like that. But down here, everything should be off, and it is. So save. And again, if you want this to work the way it's working for me, follow me exactly in doing this, right? Same steps, same procedures, right? It's very, very finicky. It needs to be perfect or it won't work, right? You might get away with it, but probably not. Okay, so services are good. Wireless, we'll check it out, see what's going on. Mixed, yeah. Extender, that's right. Access point, radio mode on 2.4, yep. Repeater bridge, yep. Home network router 5G, that's my home Wi-Fi, that's correct. And this is correct as well. last but not least, we're going to go to wireless security here. Check all the passwords. Yep. Yep. And yeah. All right. Now, we hit save and apply, and I'll just pick up the router so you can see what happens. Probably not much. There you go. And hit the save and apply. I want to just one more. This, it just has to be perfect. Yeah, got it. Save and apply. See what happens? Yeah, it's going to reboot. You can see the orange. I don't know if you can pick it up, but there, just rebooted. And this will take a little bit. Not that long, looks like. Oh, this is cool. Okay, what happened there, just so you know, because I left 192.168.1.1 up, right? So I'm connected here on Wi-Fi. I'm going to disconnect because I'm connected. That's my home IP address. So I'm just going to disconnect that. There we go. And go over here, and we're going to disable Wi-Fi. You don't have to, just disconnect from Wi-Fi. There we go. Yeah. And I'm just leaving this up here right now, the 192.168.1.1, just to show you something. And this is continuing to boot right now, so yeah. There we go. So when it refreshed, what it refreshed was my, home IP address, my home router, right? But we'll let that go here for a sec. And I'm still connected to it through Ethernet, right? So currently, what we have, or how we're connected, is with this connection here in the back of my computer, and the back of the router like that. And we are this machine right here, connected to the back of the Netgear R6700, which should now be talking to my home network router. All right, there we go. Home network router 5G. So right now it thinks it's connected to my home network, which it should think, right? Let's look at the status. 192.168.1.1. That's my home network's default gateway, and all these DNS and DHCP numbers are correct. So currently, I should be able to see my home router, which, if I actually minimize this, should be right here, status, and it is Netgear R8500. It's not a 6700 anymore, it's an R8500. Well, where did the extender go? Well, we changed the IP address, remember? So we're going to go over here to there, .2, and something's asking us for a password. So admin, oops, it's lowercase, and hopefully I did it all lowercase. We'll see here in a second. Yep, there we are. So now if you go over here to status on your router, R6700. So we're looking at the right router. You can always verify which one you're looking at by looking here and look at the model number, unless you got two R67s, which would be, I guess, unusual, but not impossible. Here we're going to go back to, we'll go to status. Well, we're on status already. We'll go to wireless, and you can see the wireless connection right now, and 2.4G, auto, and enabled. Connected clients, 0. So nothing is connected to 2.4 gigahertz. If you hit the drop down here, WLAN 1 or wireless LAN 1, there you go. This is the repeater bridge. This is the handshake to the home router, and you can see connected clients 1. Well, yeah, there is only one. That's the router, right? So both routers are talking to each other. Now, this router is talking to another router, which is the one connected client. You really should never see more than one here. All right, so what do we do next? Well, let's test it out. Right now, I'm connected to it through Ethernet. Let's see what the Ethernet performance is right now. Let's see if we get there. Speedtest.net. And we do. I completely knew it would. And let's do a speed test. Now remember, we're on this configuration right now, Wi-Fi, Ethernet. So Ethernet, Wi-Fi to the home router, and then out to the internet. And you can see that is a very decent speed for this connection, right? So this will be anything you connect to the Ethernet extender through one of those 5 ports in the back of the router will be the fastest connection you can achieve with this configuration. Wi-Fi repeating or extending, like going Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi, so connecting a Wi-Fi client to this and then this thing connecting you to the home router will be slower than this by a half, because Wi-Fi is a half-duplex technology. In other words, right now this extender is acting like a Wi-Fi card in this computer, all right? But when you connect to this just through Wi-Fi, you're actually doubling the load on the Wi-Fi extender, because now you've got 2 Wi-Fi connections that are half duplex here, half duplex here, and every time this one broadcasts, this one has to pause. You basically cut its processing time by, well, you divide its speed by half by going through Wi-Fi. But I'll show you that here in a second. You can see that's a really decent speed. I'll hit it one more time. And that's what, with this configuration, what you can expect if you have a decent Wi-Fi router on the other side of it. Yeah, I saw it almost hit 600 there. Pretty good. Now it's teetering off. Okay, we'll use a different server, because that's what I suspect the problem is here. There we go. Change the server, my favorite, Fort Worth Spectrum. See if it gets any better. Now we're just experimenting. We've actually completely done this, and I'll show you how to connect to the rest of it. Oh, that seems way slower. What happened there? Okay, well, let's go back. It must be overloaded. There, try that again. I like that first result better. All right, so back to screaming fast. So we're going to go here, and we're connected through Ethernet, as I said. So we're going to disable the Ethernet here. Right here, I'm just going to right-click it, choose Disable. Okay, 582, I believe, yeah. Disable it. So now that's the same as pulling the cable out of the back of the router. There we go. I'm going to enable Wi-Fi again. There we go, enabled. And we're going to connect to this router through Wi-Fi. So turn it on. And there's extended 5G. I'm going to forget these because I've been connected to them. I, of course, tested all this before doing this video. So we've got home network router. We've got all these. But what we want to do is connect to the extender through 5G this time. Okay, so 5 gigahertz. So we don't need to connect automatically. Just connect. It needs a password to see if I still have it. Connected, secured. If you want to see the speed here, this is great. I love this button. There we go. And it will show you everything about it. Wi-Fi 5 AC. So that's as fast as it goes. I have Wi-Fi 6 on my router, but right now, this router, this 6700, only has Wi-Fi 5 AC only. It's pretty fast anyway. You can see it here. We're on 5 gigahertz. The channel is 112. The speed is 866 and 866, which is as fast as this thing can actually connect at 5 gigahertz. Okay, but remember that half and half duplex thing going on. So let's go and do this test again. So right now we are a Wi-Fi client to this extender, and then that is connecting us to the router over here through Wi-Fi. And there's exactly what I told you would happen. The speed gets chopped in half because that Wi-Fi extender is now pretending to be two things at once that it can't do. It can only be half and half. So right in half. 295 is about midway of the first result we got. But it's still an extender. It still works. It will still allow people to connect to it through Wi-Fi wherever you put it. And it will allow you to connect to the internet from there. As I said, and the fastest way to talk through this thing is through the Ethernet ports in the back. But that just proves my point about the half-duplex technology, and that you're using it twice which basically halves its speed. So here we're going to go to the other extender, which is the 2.4 gigahertz. And we're going to click on connect, and I'm just going to paste that password in there, that Purple Lake 489. And we're connected and secured. Again, hit that info button if you want to see how fast or what your connection is. Well, Wi-Fi 4 802.11n, and the speed on that is 144 and 144. Not great, right? Not great. You know, we'll see what we can do about tweaking that up here in a minute. But right now, just showing you that it is working as an extender. All right, so let's hit the test again. Again, we're just connected to this extender through Wi-Fi right here, okay? 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. And there you go, 82, 85, which is decent speed for 2.4 gigahertz speed. I mean, if you have IoT things that are connecting to it, that's more than enough speed for just about anything on IoT, I would think. You know, I don't see what you'd have to connect that needs any more than that. A 4K TV only needs like 20K kilobits per second, so it can definitely do that. So you could connect 2 or 3 to it at that speed. So more than fast enough, decent, right? Let's see if we can make that go a little faster. Let's go over here to the router, back to the wireless tab. Again, make sure you're on 192.168.1.2, not 1.1, which would be your primary. Let's see what happens if we take this and turn this. Okay, one thing at a time. Let's put this on auto and see if that makes a difference. Save. Okay, and what I turned to auto is the channel. It'll pick the best channel I think that it can pick. So we'll put that on auto and see what happens. Now, that should reboot the radios, which means we should get disconnected. Yeah, and you can see that the strength meter there just went down. So connect. And like I said, whenever you change anything on the Wi-Fi, the radios reboot and you got to go through this process. Okay, so we're connected again. Let's see what our info says. And look at that. Now we get 300 and 108. Now that's not as fast on one of the speeds, but you know, that changes over time. Let's do it one more time here, see if we got a little better. Just wanted to show you how you can actually improve your performance easily. And there we go, 300, 300. I don't think this is capable of going any faster, so I'm not going to play with anything else on that 2.4 connection. Let's see what we get for speed. Definitely faster, much faster. We went from the 80s to 110, 111, so there you go. That's how you tweak that to make it your 2.4 gigahertz faster. Beautiful. Now over here on the 5G, I don't think there's anything there's nothing we can do with the 5 gigahertz. It's locked into whatever it is, right? And usually, that's why I set it on auto, because usually the other side, what you're connecting to controls all those settings, not this side. Now, we'll try 40 hertz, see what happens. Megahertz here. You can save and apply. Basically, at this point, if you followed me exactly, your router should be doing exactly what my router is doing with your home network. And isn't that cool for an old router, right? I picked this one up in Goodwill for $7, right? Insane. If you're picking up these routers used, make sure you got a power supply for them, because they require like 2.5 amps, 3 amps, 12-volt power supplies, and those aren't generally very cheap, and they need a specific connector for the back, which is pretty standard for these. That router power supply, or the power brick, will probably cost you as much as, if not more, than the router. So best to get them with the power, and test them too at the shop. Plug them in, turn them on, see if they power up, right? And I got tons and tons of videos on how to rescue these routers, including this one, if this messes up for you. So we should be, at this point, I'm going to connect the 2.4G of the extender here. There we go. 2.4G, yeah, connected. Look at that settings. Wi-Fi, yeah, 802.11n, nothing really different here. And 300 and 270 megabits. I don't think we're going to, well, we'll see if we can beat it. 111 was the last one. Let's see what we get on this one. Like I said, I'm just showing you that you can play with these settings and you know, experiment and see if you get any better. Now, actually looks like it slowed it down. Right? So let's set that back. Again, leave that on 20. That's the default it started with. Save, and then save and apply. And that's it. That's it. We've got it all set up. I'm going to put the notepad notes, these here, again, in the video description below. Anything you want to say to me, please go to the comment section below this video and leave me a note, suggestions, whatever you want to say to me. You know, if you have a video suggestion, I love those. I'll make a video if I think it's a valid video to make. Anything you want to relay to me, any information, any questions you have, definitely put them in the comment section below. I appreciate those. I'll chapterize this too. I'll put chapters into this video in the video description so that you can get to the parts you want to get to quickly, and also on the search on the Google, it'll show up there. Sorry, on the YouTube video player. And basically that's, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot the network connectors and any other hardware that you wish to get in the video description. Those are affiliate links. They help me out and they don't cost any more than going straight to Amazon. And by doing that, you also will, outside of helping me and not costing yourself any more than just going directly, you will get them from the same hardware from the same suppliers that I got them from, and therefore you're guaranteed to have the same hardware I used in this video and get the same result. Well, you should. I'm going to minimize this here. Also, if you like this video and it helped you out in some way, hit the like button. That helps me on YouTube to rank, and it also helps YouTube to know that, you know, this is a good video that people like, and then YouTube will show it to more people. Not only does it help me, it also, by doing that, you help other people to see this video, that it can help them as well. So share the love. Give me a like on this video down at the bottom. I really appreciate it. A thumbs up. If you like my content and want to see more, definitely subscribe to my channel. And as a part of that, hit the bell icon, and then you'll be notified every time I put up a new video, and you can watch it at your own leisure at that point. Once again, and like always, I really appreciate your help, your watching here, and your comments. And stay healthy, stay happy, and we'll see you on the next video. Happy routing.